Welcome to a special event release of the Sound of Movement podcast. In this 7-part series, we will reveal why conventional stretching methods are dead and introduce you to the 5 steps to unlocking strength and flexibility in adulthood. Strap yourself in and get ready. This is the Flexibility Blueprint 2023 edition. Before we get started, as with all our blueprints, the 2023 edition is available to everyone for free, because my brother Yanni and I want to democratize health and fitness education to empower everyone to unleash their inner athlete by achieving the highest levels of health and athletic performance possible. So please support us by liking and leaving a comment. Give us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to, and please give us a Google review if you haven't done so already. And most importantly, if you learn something or benefit from this episode, chances are someone you know would too. So pretty please, with a sprinkle of sugar on top. Share the content with your inner circle by clicking that little button below the stream window on Spotify and then send it to one of your friends. Do that right now. It would mean the world to Yanni and I, and it will mean a lot to your friends. Welcome to episode 4 of this 7-part series where we are introducing the 2023 version of the Flexibility Blueprint. It's going to be released in September. You can click you can see the official release date in the description of this video or podcast. And if you're watching or listening to this after the fact, you can download it now. So go ahead and download that Flexibility Blueprint. It's going to teach you more about flexibility training than anything we've done before. And more importantly, it's going to demystify all of the clutter in your head about all this stuff that you've been watching on YouTube but aren't really putting into action because you don't know if it's right for you now, you don't know how to put a program together. It's going to just get rid of all of that and show you exactly what you need to focus on based on whether you're stage 1 flexibility, stage 2 flexibility, or stage 3 flexibility, and so that you can have a real breakthrough in the next 28 days. And hey, if you haven't done so yet, please hit that share button, copy the link, send it on to one of your friends. Do that right now, please. It would mean the world to us, and it's the only ask that we have for giving out all this free content for you guys. So take a moment, do that now, hit the share button, copy the link, send it on. All right, today we're talking about point 2 in the Flexibility Blueprint, which is to supercharge your workouts by training opposing muscle groups. So this is about the concept of when you do strength training, training push with pull, training the opposing muscle groups. So the muscles that lift your shoulders up versus the muscles that pull your shoulders back. And there's some pretty incredible things that actually happen within the nervous system when you train opposing muscle systems set for set within the same workout. It's even different when you train one set of a shoulder press, then one set of a pull-up, versus if you do all 3 or all 5 sets of your shoulder press or pull-up, and then you go into your posing movement. It even works differently when you do that. So that's what we're talking about today. And it's actually pretty cool because you can use strength training to get more flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. Due to the relationship with the neural spindle reflex, the way that the nervous system is communicating with the muscle, between the brain and muscle connection, you can not only improve the strength adaptation within a workout, you can radically increase the flexibility adaptation within a workout. And this ties into, the lesson 1, which is episode 3 of this series, a little bit, where we're doing those opposing contractions and then followed by a loaded stretch. But this takes it one step further. And I actually was introduced to this theory the first by the late Charles Poliquin when we were doing the PICP certification course, the Poliquin Institute certification course. And he did these drills. With the demonstration we did was when we were doing max lift bench press. He got us on the ground to do what I now know as what we call a scapular control drill, where you lie face down and you really learn to contract the muscles, the rhomboids and the traps that control the scapular muscles, the shoulder blades. And what you're doing is trying as hard as you can to contract those muscles. And then you go into the bench press and you're actually stronger in the bench press. It was wild. And we did all of these 1RM tests where we tested our max bench press, both having done this and not having done it. And yeah, the results were very, very tangible and very immediate. This is the scapular control drill that Rad's doing there. And what it does is, I've said this before, and I get into debates with people that just can't seem to wrap their head around this. When you don't have the mobility to do a movement, the body somewhat fights itself, because you've got every joint has an agonist and an antagonistic muscle system. And if one of those systems is out of whack, whether it be through weakness, Charles used to refer to it as a length tension compromise, meaning that either the muscles are having problems lengthening or they're having problems tightening and creating tension. So it's weakness. Basically, it's a flexibility issue or it's a strength issue. If you've got a compromise in a joint, the body fights itself to try to create this, what's referred to in engineering as a force coupling around a joint to stabilize that joint. And what that fight does is it restricts your maximal output, your ability to demonstrate maximal strength, power. And so doing this, releasing that spindle reflex and allowing for the range of motion to be restriction free dramatically upregulates your ability to produce force in that movement. And it's quite shocking to see it and feel it and experience it firsthand. But what it does to flexibility is really, really amazing. And at the time when I learned it, we weren't doing it to demonstrate increases in mobility or flexibility. We were doing it to maximize our strength output. But now that I know how it works, we use it in Unity Gym to also maximize our flexibility output and mobility. And it's a great little hack. Beyond that, it actually increases the efficiency of your workouts when you train opposing muscles. Like, for instance, the example Rad did there, instead of doing 4 or 5 straight sets of a vertical press and having to rest, 60 to 90 seconds between each of those sets, and then once all of those 4 or 5 sets are done, you move on to your next exercise, where in this example would be the opposing movement. So pairing maybe a pull-up with an overhead press or a bench press with a horizontal row or a seated row or a bent over row, you will actually dramatically improve how much you can lift. The fatigue, the neurological accumulative fatigue doesn't set in as quickly, and you end up getting more weight, more reps at a higher weight over that workout. It's quite astonishing. And I would challenge anyone to try it out. Do a workout for your bench press and your row doing straight sets, and then do a workout with your bench press and row having the same rest, but doing alternating sets, where instead of doing your 4 sets on bench and then moving to your row, you do bench, row, bench, row. Use the same protocols, so the same amount of rest between each, and I guarantee you'll have a better outcome doing alternating sets.
Yeah, and the reason why this works is because some of the nervous system, some of the spindles within the nervous system, so between the spinal cord and the muscles, that are there, that their function is to activate muscles when they sense that we're going to a range that's unsafe. Some of those actually shut down when you are doing the opposing movement. So the muscles the nervous sensory system spindles that prevent your shoulders from lifting up like this and restrict that range, some of them actually shut down when you're pressing a heavy weight and doing a shoulder press, and vice versa. And the same happens in every joint in the body. And so that's a really, really basic description of how this works. But if you want to know a much better description of how that works and why it happens, then download the Flexibility Blueprint, where we go much deeper into that in lesson 2. And we're definitely hitting our running out of time here, Yanni. So do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to talk about for this one?
No, I will just reiterate again for those who are working through this series that this is, what I would call a stage 2 or stage 3 concept. You know, if you're just starting out, focus on stage 1 concepts, which is really well outlined. That's the whole purpose of the flexibility blueprint, not just to teach these stages, but it's also really designed to help you identify what stage you're at in your flexibility development or strength development. It applies to both. And, you know, if you're at stage 1, just embrace stage 1 learning and focus on what's relevant, only what's most relevant to you at stage 1. Don't worry about the really advanced techniques that are really more specifically made available to people at stage 2 and stage 3.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole purpose of the flexibility blueprint, to teach you what stage you're at and get you hyper focused on what you should be working on. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you haven't yet, hit that share button, copy the link and paste it into a message to send to a friend that you think would enjoy it. You might give them something that really changes their life. And if you haven't, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on YouTube, we post daily content like this, and give us a review on Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast, please. It would mean the world to us. And we'll see you in our next episode. Hey, are you confused by all the free content you've tried on YouTube without getting the results you want? Our tribe thrives because we find what's right for each person's developmental stage. Then we cut out the irrelevant 80% of online information so they can double down on the 20% that matters most. If you want to learn what stage you're at and are ready to take action, then listen up, we can help. Just starting out and struggling to see results? Then you're at stage 1 and need to keep it simple. A gentle yet efficient whole body routine that ignites motivation by delivering instant results is the key. If you don't feel better after your first try, you're wasting your time. Our 20-minute mobility routine is perfect for you at stage 1. Stretching regularly but hitting roadblocks? Then you're at stage 2 and will benefit from targeting different muscles to unlock specific moves like back bridges or splits. It's time to challenge yourself. Ready for the next step? Our Flexibility Masterclass is your key. Flexible but need more strength, or strong but lacking flexibility? Whether you're super flexible but lack strength, or Hulk strong without functional flexibility, there's room to grow. And grow you must, because the depth of your stretches or the impressive plate stack on your barbell means stagnation at this stage risks serious injury. Integrating strength and flexibility is now essential and your next leap forwards. Our flagship online coaching system, the UMS Tribe membership, is your ideal solution to achieve peak performance in your best years. One simple subscription for everything we do. Knowing the 3 stages and what stage you're at in your flexibility journey can be the difference between frustrating plateaus, painful injuries, and monumental leaps forward in skill. Head over to unitygym.com to get started.